there! I'm 30 and up until recently I had problems with adult acne. And if you don't believe me, let me just show you some pictures of what my skin looked like just a couple of months ago. It definitely wasn't pretty, and while it wasn't a severe case of acne, it was still to the point where it was bothering me a lot and it was giving me a very low self-esteem. I just constantly had to cover up things with makeup. If you've ever suffered from acne or even just blemish-prone skin, you know what it feels like. But as so many other women in their 30s with adult acne, I wasn't only worried about my acne, but also about preventing any signs of aging. And here we have the problem so many of us struggle with. On one side, we have acne, and on the other side, we want to use anti-aging products. And if you know anything about acne, this usually doesn't go very well together because most anti-aging products usually have a very heavy formula that just does not match with acne-prone skin, so they can easily cause your skin to break out. So for me, this meant either having wrinkly skin and no acne, or having acne and a little more youthful looking skin. Of course, I wasn't happy with either of these options, and up until recently, I thought this is how it has to be. But then I made a huge discovery. Before I show you the product I'm talking about, I just want to zoom in on my face and just show you what it looks like right now, because you've seen the pictures from what it looked like before. Of course, I'm wearing a light layer of makeup, but usually you can see any signs of acne through makeup. So this is what my skin looks like right now. As you can see, my forehead is completely clear. Let me just go down with the light a little bit so it's better to see. Okay, there. Do you see there are no blemishes or pimples? Here on my cheek there's a little bit, but that is basically nothing. And here as well there's a small tiny pimple. But even when you look at my nose, there are no blackheads, no whiteheads, no huge pimples, nothing. And you can tell by the way this is shining through that I'm actually just wearing a very light layer of makeup. Alright, so do you want to know what I've been using? Pure organic jojoba oil. Nothing added to it, it's organic. And in this bottle, there is nothing else than jojoba oil. Using oils in skincare is becoming more and more popular, but jojoba oil is not like any other oil because it's actually not an oil. Jojoba oil is the extract of the nut from the jojoba plant, and it's not oil, it's a liquid wax. It has a golden color, a slightly nut-like scent if you get it pure and organic, and because of its low melting point, it's basically always in its liquid state. Its molecule structure is very similar to that of human sebum, and sebum are basically the natural oils your skin produces. So when you put something on the skin that's similar to that, what it's already producing, the skin is tricked into thinking that it's producing enough of its own natural oils, and it basically just cuts back on the production, and therefore you can use this oil to control the oil production in your skin. Why is this important? Because one of the leading causes of acne is an overproduction of sebum. That usually clogs the pores and that can cause breakouts. Because the molecule structure of this wax is so similar to the sebum on your skin will recognize it as its own and leave the pores open, which means it can penetrate deep into the lower layers of the skin. This is why jojoba oil provides a deep cleansing action for your skin, because it can actually get in the deepest layers and clean them out and bring all of the dirt up to the top layers. This can also mean that if you use jojoba oil on blemish-prone skin, your skin could potentially get a little worse in the beginning, but then things will quickly start to heal. Now, apart from that cleansing action that takes place, jojoba oil also has antibacterial properties that help to control the growth of bacteria, and it also acts as an anti-inflammatory agent that can help to soothe irritated and inflamed skin. Now, most skin doctors will probably tell you to stay away from any oils when you have acne, but keep in mind that jojoba oil is actually not an oil but a liquid wax, and it will not clog your pores. So how do I use it? I simply like to use it as a daily moisturizer. I do not use more than 2 drops. I just drip them into my hands, rub them between my fingers to slightly warm up the oil, and then I just pat it onto my face right after cleansing and washing it. It just feels so nice. It feels so hydrating, and right after it, the skin feels so smooth. It really feels like baby skin. Definitely do not use more than your skin needs, so 1 to 2 drops are always enough, because even though this is not oily, it doesn't leave a greasy film on your skin or anything. If you overdo it, you might end up with a little bit too much of the jojoba oil on the skin, and then you're just attracting dust and grime, which then again can clog your pores. So don't overdo it. Just use a very tiny amount, because a little goes a very long way with this product. I know this sounds a little bit like magic, but honestly, this has worked for me so well, and I know I'm not the only one, because if you just Google acne and jojoba oil, you will find so many reviews. If you've tried so many other things like me and nothing has really worked for you but dried out your skin, maybe just try this natural alternative and see for yourself.